Hey guys, it's Hey553. Welcome back to another Beyblade X unboxing and review. Today we're going to be checking out the second of the CX Expand bays from Takara, that being Night Fortress. Now going over the packaging quickly, as you can see, very similar packaging to Bahamut Blitz, CX-14, Night Fortress, and on the back of the box it goes over everything that we get in this release. So of course we have the Night Lock Chip, the Guard Overblade, the Fortress Metal Blade, and the Vertical Assist Blade. Ratchet is 870, and then we have the Under Needle bit. So let's get into this release. So here is Night Fortress out of the packaging. So really cool to finally see the Night Bay make it into the CX system and into this new system as well. So let's now take a deep dive into all the parts that Night Fortress comes with. So first off, we have the Night Lock Chip. So nothing too crazy here, it's a standard CX lock chip, all plastic, no metal or anything. But do love the motif of the Night on the chip itself. It definitely reminds me quite a bit of the original Night Shield lock chip, but they just kind of flipped the design a bit. But even still, really cool to see this lock chip finally make it to the CX system. I know a lot of people have been really waiting for the Night Bay to finally get a CX release. But other than that, it's a standard CX lock chip. Next up, we have the Guard Overblade. So it's a three-sided defense type overblade that will definitely be offering some really good defensive power, while also having some pretty decent attacks. For the time being, there's nothing too crazy with this overblade compared to, say, the overblade that Bahamut Blitz has. It's really much just a well-balanced overblade, but even still, looks pretty cool, and this has already seen a little bit of use, at least with the Fortress Metal Blade, which seems to work really well with it at the moment. Now granted, the expand system for CX is pretty limited at the moment. We only got 3 bays right now, with a 4th coming out in a few days. But even still, really nice overblade, and pretty happy to see how this blade goes. Next up, we have the Fortress Metal Blade, so the main portion of the combo that has all the metal. So it's a 3-sided blade that is pretty round. And this is actually a pretty good metal blade. A lot of people have already been trying out Fortress, and it offers really good defense. This is definitely a defense type that honestly could definitely be pretty useful. Now, obviously, against certain stamina types like Wizard Rod and Clock Mirage, it is going to struggle quite a bit. But even still, this is a pretty nice overblade. I really do like how Fortress performs so far, and I'm actually looking forward to see how people continue to use Fortress. A lot of people have actually been running it with the metal lock chips right now, so to add a lot more weight to its defense. But even still, really happy with this metal blade. Looks really cool and pretty good performance wise. Next up, we have the Vertical Assist Blade. So Vertical is a defense type assist blade that is pretty round. It's definitely very hexagony, octagony shape. So it is definitely going to complement Fortress and also other round assist blades pretty easily. But it is fairly thin, so I'm not too sure how well it's going to do. Like, I don't think it's really going to be replacing blades such as Wheel and Heavy. But even still, looks pretty cool. And at least with Fortress, it works pretty well. But honestly, you would be better off using a different assist blade. But even still, this assist blade is pretty decent. But I do feel like it's a little bit outclassed against some of the other assist blades out right now. Still looks cool though. Next up, we have the 870 Ratchet. So yes, brand new Ratchet here, and we finally have a Ratchet with 8 Intrusion points on it. Pretty exciting. So it is at the 70 height, so it is between the commonly used heights right now. And of course we have 8 sides here, so basically an octagon. So this should perform fairly similar to 760, mainly for defensive builds. So the burst resistance on this is alright. I mean, I've had this burst a little bit, but then again, still trying to test it out. So it should hopefully be a good ratchet for defense. Now granted, being at the 70 height, it is going to be a little bit more targeted. So hopefully they do introduce it at an 860 at some point. But even still, it's really cool to see a brand new ratchet type here. And we now have all of the ratchet numbers from 0 to 9, which is pretty cool. But really happy to see this ratchet though, and I'm very keen to see how this ratchet goes in the meta. Finally, for the bit, we have Underneedle. Honestly, really great part to see he get reprinted. We haven't seen this release since the original Golem Rock, so really happy about this. Underneedle is a really good defense type bit right now, and easily the best of the needle bits released at the moment. So it is really good for defensive builds. While it can lead to a bit of scraping on certain combos, it is really, really good for defense, and honestly is really, really solid. So pretty happy to see this bit here. Granted, would have liked to have seen a new part, but even still, Underneedle is a fantastic defense type bit, and very happy to see it here. With this combination of parts, it makes Knight Fortress a defense type, which is very appropriate. But let's now head over to the scales and see how much all these parts weigh up. Alright, let's now get some weights down for Knight Fortress. So, Underneedle, this weighs 1.89 grams. 870, this weighs, oh wow, 7.83. That's a pretty heavy ratchet, actually. The vertical assist blade, this one weighs 5.18, not bad. And the Knight lock chip, that weighs 1.74. Alright, now for guard. Guard over blade weighs 3.35. And then the Fortress Metal Blade, that weighs 27.48. So yeah, that is a little bit lighter than Blitz. So it's about almost a gram lighter. So now we'll put the guard on top. So altogether, the primary blade weighs 30.83, so it's more in the same ballpark as the primary blades in the past, which is not too bad. So let's put the whole bay together. So we've got vertical, and then the lock chip. So altogether, the full blade weighs 37.73, so that's a pretty good weight overall. So let's now put, just for comparison, the Muhammad Blitz, that weighed closer to 40 grams. So yeah, there is a bit of a weight difference between these two. Granted, this has a lot more metal, in considering what it's designed to do. So let's put the whole bay together. There's the full combo. So altogether, Knight Fortress weighs 47.46, so not too bad. So let's get him out onto the stadium and do some test spins and some test battles. Alright, let's now do some test spins and battles with Knight Fortress. So this should be interesting. Now being on Underneedle, it's staying relatively in the center. Oh, but that is, whoa, that is very top heavy. That's a lot of wobble. It's probably because of Underneedle that it's doing that. Even still, that's a little concerning. Because I know some people have been running the Emperor lock chip on this. And here comes the wobble. Yeah. That Underneedle is definitely creating a bit of wobble there. But let's do some test battles with this new bait. Oh, whoa! That killed the stamina on that Phoenix really quick. Wow. So that is it for my look at Night Fortress. Really happy with how this bait turned out. It's really great to see defense types start to make a real comeback here over the last few months with some really good solid releases. This is definitely what the typing really needed, and Night Fortress definitely continues that. There's a lot of potential here with these parts. So the Fortress blade itself, really solid. It's a really nice defense type blade, and definitely has a lot of potential, especially when you pair it up with the right assist blade, and even potentially overblades in the future. So really good there. Great to see Underneedle get a nice reprint, very long overdue. 870's definitely going to be interesting to use as well. Definitely keen to see how that ratchet evolves in the future with more heights. But 870 seems to be pretty decent. But definitely hoping for an 860 at some point. But overall, very happy with how this bay turned out. And definitely looking forward to see what other defense types we may see in this new expand system. So my final thoughts on Night Fortress are really good. I definitely recommend picking this up for a lot of the parts here. Fortress is a really solid metal blade. 870 has a lot of potential, and a great way to get Underneedle if you missed out on the original Golem Rock release. So yeah, definitely highly recommend picking up this bay if you are looking for a brand new defense type. But anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Beyblade X videos in the future, and until then, I'll see you all in the next video.